is News 4 San Antonio Today, the only local news station with nonstop news.
Good morning. Nonstop news starts right now. We are the only station that is commercial free all the way up until the top of the hour.
We, of course, have you covered this morning. You just heard from Jeannette, and she'll give us another look at weather in just a few minutes.
But now let's check in with Joy and see how the traffic is shaping up.
Hey, good morning, y'all. So I am following one accident. It is on the east side of San Antonio, blocking 2 lanes and already causing about a 15 to 20 minute delay. It's the eastbound lanes of I-10 at Foster Road. I will say it does look like we are already starting to clear out there, so hopefully that'll be a quick in and out problem there. Downtown, the lower level of I-35 is closed right now. Southbound between 37 and I-10, I am seeing some congestion as you approach that intersection. The upper level is open, but there's only 2 lanes up there, and that is just not quite enough for the amount of traffic we're trying to move through. That's the latest for now with your on-time traffic.
Joy, thank you. New video just coming into our newsroom. San Antonio firefighters keeping busy knocking out a house fire on the city's west side. An emergency call went out just after 4:30 this morning to flames shooting out of a home off Petchy Street, which was being remodeled. The fire was burning at the back of the house and was put out quickly. No one was hurt. Right now, arson investigators are looking to see if it was deliberately set. The latest now on election 2026. The biggest race in our community was the race for Bexar County Judge between former Mayor Ron Nierenberg and current Judge Peter Sakai.
News 4 was the first station to bring you those results live.
And here are the final results. Former San Antonio Mayor Ron Nierenberg winning by a big margin, 62% to Sakai's 38%. News 4 San Antonio's Ethan Trejo was at La Fonda in Alamo Heights last night for Judge Peter Sakai's watch party and brings us more.
A lot of eyes watching the race for Bexar County Judge between Peter Sakai and former Mayor Ron Nierenberg. A lot of those eyes watching from right here at La Fonda in Alamo Heights for Judge Peter Sakai's watch party. Sakai addressed the crowd multiple times throughout the night, thanking his supporters, and there was even an appearance from Precinct 1 Commissioner Rebecca Clay Flores. When the initial numbers dropped, Sakai went around telling his supporters it's not over until it's over. He continued to rally and keep people going. At around 9:15, Sakai addressed the crowd again and told them that he would be viewing the rest of the race from his home with his family.
And we will continue on, no matter what the outcome. I will respect, and that's one thing, I will respect the voters and the decisions they made today, and we will move on.
His initial defeat was announced just before 10 p.m. Ethan Trejo reporting.
Another big race is for one of the 2 U.S. Senate seats here in Texas. This race saw nearly $130 million in advertising as Republicans John Cornyn and Ken Paxton battled for the GOP nomination. Here are the results. Senator John Cornyn and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. They'll advance to a runoff in the Texas Republican Senate primary. Neither cleared 50% of the vote. Paxton, now in his 3rd term as Attorney General, is challenging Cornyn, now serving his 4th term, who has also been in Republican leadership. The GOP's Senate campaign arm poured millions into Cornyn's campaign. Now, that runoff is scheduled for May 26. President Trump has yet to endorse anyone in the primary. There was some controversy during the watch party, though, for a Democrat running for office.
Let's take a look at the latest results for U.S. Senate for the Democrats. You can see 53% for James Tallarico and 46% of the votes coming in for Jasmine Crockett. 91% of those votes reported. Jasmine Crockett loses the Democratic nomination. Destiny Fuller has more from Dallas.
Following recent precinct changes, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett announcing at her watch party the Supreme Court overturned that decision.
The Supreme Court also said that they are to separate any votes out that came in after 7 p.m. So here's the deal. I have no idea how it is that clerks are going to know who was in line by what time. What this means is that we will not know what votes are to be tallied on election day in Dallas County.
Crockett telling supporters losing in Dallas County would be questionable, adding her belief that the election results are incomplete. The supporters also saying the Supreme Court is acting unjustly.
It's just not fair, and what they do need to do is be transparent. We're not losing votes. The numbers are there, so I feel like they should just allow the votes to fall out they may.
Crockett telling the crowd that a loss in Dallas County would be questionable for her at this point, but her supporters saying they'll support her no matter what. In Dallas, Destiny Fuller reporting.
One of the highest profile races of this primary, the race for Congressional District 23. Incumbent Tony Gonzalez is going against Brandon Herrera to represent Republicans in the November election.
Gonzalez has come under fire from gun rights activist and YouTuber Herrera. The closely watched race drew national attention and big outside spending. Aryami Verhin talked one-on-one with Brandon Herrera at his watch party in Bernie last night.
So we're on to a runoff. We're here with Brandon Herrera. And Brandon, tell us what you're going to be doing starting today.
Well, we're going to be back out in the district doing the things we've always done, which is gone out and talked to the people themselves. We've had a congressman for too long that hides in a basement, that has not been accountable to the people, will not go out and talk to them, will not actually take questions from the people he represents. And we do the opposite of that. We go out to every single county in the 27 counties in the district. We make sure we hear from people and give them an opportunity to ask their questions and make sure their voices are heard.
Talk to us about the border wall. There's a section there, Brewster, near Big Bend, where a border wall is about to start being built. Is it all about building a wall, or is it about having solutions that make sense for the area?
Well, and that's another thing, because Brewster is in the district, and going out and talking to the people, even some of the most conservative people there in Brewster County that are very, very pro-Trump, they're very conservative, a lot of them are also opposed to the wall. And there's a lot of things that are concerned about property rights issues there, about the tourism elements that are there in Big Bend National Park, and a lot of those voices need to be heard in D.C. And right now we really don't have a good voice for that. We don't have a good advocate, and so that's something that we'd like to look forward to changing as well.
All right, thank you so much. Brandon Herrera, Republican candidate, runoff against Tony Gonzalez. Reporting from San Antonio, I'm Jami Virgen.
Another closely watched race is the Republican primary for Texas's Attorney General. There will be a runoff election between Representative Chip Roy and State Senator Mays Middleton. None of the four candidates in the race were able to get the mandatory 50% of support.
Meanwhile, former Major League Baseball star Mark Teixeira wins the Republican primary to succeed GOP Congressman Roy Teixeira. He was endorsed by President Trump. The former first baseman had a 14-year career playing for several teams, including the Atlanta Braves, Texas Rangers, and New York Yankees.
Time now is 6:49. The latest now on a story we've been following. Even though voters picked a winner in the Democratic primary for Bexar County Court at law number 14, the race is far from over. Unofficial results show Audrey Martinez defeating incumbent Judge Carlo Key with about 63% of the vote. But Martinez's victory now heads to court. This after Key filed a lawsuit before the primary, challenging whether Martinez met the residency requirement to run in Bexar County. Key claims Martinez was living in Wilson County when she signed documents to run for office in Bexar County. A hearing is scheduled for May 11th to decide whether she can remain on the ballot in November. News 4 has you covered for the primary election. You can see results from some of the major results running across the bottom of your screen throughout our newscast. For the result of more than 200 races across the state, you can go online to news4sa.com.
We are days away from spring break for some school districts, and today SAISD is hosting a mega food drive for some of its students and their families.
News 4 San Antonio's Christina De Leon has more on that food drive.
Now, this mega food distribution is expected to help as many as 800 families on a first-come, first serve basis right here at Alamo Stadium. It's going to be a massive mega food distribution. Each and every year, SAISD hosts a mega food drive ahead of spring break. It's a way for their students and families to make sure that they have something to eat ahead of the spring break holiday. This year, district leaders say this initiative reflects an understanding that access to nutritious meals can become more challenging when school's out. So students and employee volunteers will serve 800 families during the distribution at Alamo Stadium. The district has partnered up with the San Antonio Food Bank for this distribution. Sadly, Texas is ranked second in the nation for food insecurity, with 1 in 6 living in food insecure homes, with the San Antonio Food Bank alone serving 100,000 people a week. So things will kick off at Alamo Stadium beginning from 9 to 11 a.m. on a first come, first served basis. I'm Christina Del Leon. We will send it back to you.
For the Spurs to come back from losing their first game of the month in Philly last night, the game wasn't close as they were up by 50 at one point. Wemby finished with 6 blocks on the night. Dylan Harper and Devin Vassell led the way with 22 points each. Steph Castle had a double-double with 15 points and 10 rebounds. The Spurs win it by 40, not even close, 131-91. Spurs come back home tomorrow when they take on the Pistons.
Chick-fil-A has changed a fan favorite menu item again. Pea starch has been removed from the restaurant's waffle fries. The change comes after customers complained about the flavor and texture. The fast food chain added pea starch as an ingredient in 2024. Their goal was to make their waffle fries crispier for longer.
Now your certified most accurate 4-zone weather with meteorologist Jeannette.
I have a suggestion. Maybe use beef tallow to fry up those fries. I don't know. All right, rainfall trend ahead. We're looking at a more active pattern, guys. The dry and hot weather we've had here for weeks coming to an end. I do have a slight rain chance for this morning, and then late in the day, a couple showers, maybe a thunderstorm possible with that rain chance at about 20 to 30%. Tomorrow does not look very active. We could see maybe patches of drizzle or a shower early in the day. Rain chance for tomorrow at 20%. And then notice how it does get a lot more active as we head into the weekend. Friday up to a 40% rain chance. That's late in the day. This weekend will be pretty unsettled. 70% of the area will see showers, perhaps thunderstorms. Some of the rain locally could be heavy, so we have to keep an eye on the potential for flash flooding. Rain chance goes down to 30% next Monday, and then it looks like it's going to go back up again for next Tuesday as an upper level disturbance approaches the region. So again, a stretch of more active weather. 4-zone impacts today. Later in the day, there is a level 1 marginal severe weather risk for the western part of our viewing area. We're talking the western hill country and the western zone along the Rio Grande, Kendall County, back towards southern Val Verde County, including Maverick County. With the heating of the day, there could be a thunderstorm or two there that produces wind and hail. There is another chance for a strong thunderstorm or two closer to San Antonio and the hill country late Friday and the weekend, more rain and thunder risk. Here is where the marginal risk lies today. Again, Kendall County, Edwards County, down across Maverick County, up across Dallas, that's a level 2 risk. Tomorrow, Val Verde County, Edwards County, northern Kinney County, level 1 risk. West central Texas, slight risk. Again, primary hazards being wind and hail. And then Friday, late in the day, from the north side of San Antonio to the hill country, a level 1 risk, level 2 for North Texas, level 3 risk for Oklahoma. Right now, we're seeing rain, and it looks like storms are starting to develop there between Kansas and Oklahoma. That's moving off towards the east. There's the system that will bring us a stronger front as we head into the weekend, and that's what's going to increase our rain chances. Right now, things are pretty quiet. Could see some sprinkles on your morning drive. Again, late in the day, maybe a shower or storm. We'll see isolated to widely scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two late Friday. The weekend ahead with that increased rain chance, it gets cooler. 81 Saturday, 72 for the high on Sunday. Here's the extended forecast for the other 3 zones. Make sure you have that 4-zone weather app, and we're going to be on top of things for you. If we have to change the forecast, of course, we will let you know. One more, the extended for the eastern zone there.
All right.
right, that accident we were following on the east side has cleared, so no longer seeing a delay there. That was eastbound on I-10 at Foster Road. Now we're just left with that construction closure downtown, the lower level of I-35 southbound from 37 to I-10. And then one more time, I wanted to mention that new intersection on the north side. This is Loop 1604 and Blanco. We're getting really close to getting this intersection wrapped up, and it is a first of its kind for San Antonio called a diverging diamond intersection. And what makes it so unique is that the north and southbound lanes of Blanco cross over each other. So you'll be briefly driving on the left side of the road before you cross back over to the right side. Even though it looks scary, TxDOT says it actually is both faster and safer, reducing crashes by up to 60%. So I wanted to make sure we talked about that, though, because it is very new to us and could be confusing. That's the latest for now with your on-time traffic.
Thank you, Joy. A popular exhibit at the Memphis Zoo is closed for several weeks after a primate got too excited and shattered the exhibit glass. This happened after a group of teenagers were interacting with the apes, causing one of them to charge straight for the glass. The boys behind the camera say they weren't trying to be disrespectful to the animals.
We banged on our chest a little bit, not really expecting anything. We see one of them start to approach us, and I was like, oh my gosh, that thing's coming for us. We're in shock. So our first reaction was to laugh, because that was a crazy experience.
Zoo curators say the teenagers are not to blame for the apes' behavior, but they remind guests to be respectful when paying a visit. Oh, that's not nice.
Have you ever seen Planet of the Apes?
Yes.
It'll make you think about those animals.